It's become tradition at this point for me to spend every October of every year kind of going back and watching old horror movies like Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger, maybe Hellraiser, maybe going out of my way to watch just funny comedy scary movies, or watch something brand new that's in theaters around that time. And if it's not something like that, typically I like to play maybe spooky games. Maybe I'll go out of my way, I'll play Phasmophobia, or I'll play Dead by Daylight. Who really knows? It depends on my, feeling at that time, and if I have any friends that want to also dive into the atmosphere of spooky season. But another thing I really like about this time of the year is that it gives everybody a reason to really just cosplay, to dress up as some of their favorite characters and be like, this is what I'm going to be for Halloween this year. There's a lot of people in different areas around the world that celebrate Halloween. Some don't, obviously, but it's a very fun time of the year because, there's many different ways to celebrate it, and I celebrate it in different type of ways myself, but one thing I really like doing around October is trying to find new series that kind of fit the vibe of October, of Halloween. For instance, either creepy stories, skin-crawling stories, stories that make me have my blood pumping, stories that make me feel like, holy crap, this is just scary, I'm glad that, this is just a story, stuff like that. I love finding stories that really make my skin crawl, which is one of the reasons why I even started Sweet Home a long time ago, why I started Shotgun Boy. I've even talked about those on the channel already like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Very good stories, by the way, if you have never actually read them. And I like to just search for different stuff on Webtoon or Viz or whatever the case may be. I just try to find a story to read that fits the tone. And, not to kind of get off topic here, but if you have never read this series, by the way, The Greatest Estate Developer, 100% read it. Fantastic. Along with Unordinary, Tears on a Withered Flower, very good stories. Excellent review. Talked about all these series kind of. Ooh, maybe I should read this series, Vampire Family. But I'm getting very off track. The point of the matter is I like trying to find new stories to read, and upon my search, I discovered Survive. It is a new series, as you can see. It started coming out in September of this year, September 28th, and the latest chapter literally came out a few days ago, back on October 26th. Now, at this time, I've only read 7 chapters. Apparently, there is 20-something chapters on the Webtoon app. I have not read those chapters yet or anything, but at least on the PC version, as you can see here, there's only 7 chapters, which I have read, and I have liked what I've read so far. And so I kind of want to dedicate some amount of time here in this video to kind of recommend this series for those that might be interested in a thriller story, a story about surviving. As the title suggests, that is what it's literally called. It's a very simplistic title that really perfectly represents what the story actually is about. So, let's get right into it. What is the actual story besides just surviving? So I think I should establish the main male character first before I really get into the full premise of the entire story. So basically, there is some flashbacks that we get of the character at the end of Chapter 1, Chapter 4, and a few other chapters that kind of showcase how he got into the position where he's at in the current timeline of the story, where he's in a life or death situation with his wife. Now, here's the thing. Apparently, he is someone with back issues. He's someone that has health issues with his back and his neck, and he is an author. He is someone that makes chapters for Webtoon. Yeah, very, very meta, by the way. Very, very meta. Reading a Webtoon comic, and he writes a Webtoon comic. Meta, obviously. The irony of that is not lost on me. But the point of the matter is that he has health issues, which is, very interesting, very realistic. Anyone that knows anything about, let's say, shonen offers, Yoshihiro Togashi is a very prime example of this. Someone that has, back issues, health issues, can barely walk, can barely draw, and all that. When I saw this character and his overall motivation and what is causing him not to be able to write his manga or write his webcomic consistently, I was like, okay, this sounds exactly like just so many different manga offers in Japan. I was like, okay, that's a really realistic way to kind of showcase someone's backstory of, their hardships and trying to overcome it. Because when you go into the first chapter, you just see him hanging upside down. He has, this outfit ready for fishing or, camping or hiking or whatever. His very overall attire just showcases that he's in a better state of health than he once was, which makes you wonder what's really going on here. Is this a supernatural story? story? Is this a story to where he just legit got some really good surgery and he's just now better able to do something? I have no idea. Obviously, I've only read 7 chapters. I haven't read the other, like, 10 plus chapters that's on the app. But the point of the matter is that you can see that from his past, he was a very unhealthy guy, but also he was miserable, but somewhat happier than what he currently is right now. And you can see that he is also healthier, though, in the present. And you're like, okay, so what happened there? Well, what actually happened is that he needed to get some form of therapy. He needed to either have a surgery or he needed to somehow work out to the point to where maybe he could help his back issues build up muscle mass to be able to help. I don't know exactly how that would fully work with like a slip disc or not, but obviously that's what the series says he has to do. Go rock climbing, maybe hiking to help himself out. And so upon him trying to learn how to get better in shape, he meets his wife as a coach. This is before they were married or whatever, but he meets her, and apparently upon their exchanges, she actually is someone that is a big fan of his web series. Obviously, he has a pen name. Nobody knows what he looks like, but she starts gushing about his story, and he's like, yo, I'm the writer, and obviously they start dating from then on, and obviously we could see that the relationship progressed to the point to where they didn't just get married, but also she is pregnant with his child, and that's the events of the current story, to where he right now is in a life or death situation with his wife down in the bottom of this like ravine with a bunch of water, and she is with a child, pregnant with a child, and she's stuck. She needs help, and he needs to either figure out a way to get up and out and be able to call for rescue, or get down to her and try to save her. Now, I'm just going to be blunt. I'm just going to do a brief spoiler here. Upon him trying to climb out to try to find help, he falls down, he hurts his shoulder, which kind of, showcases he's probably going to maybe hurt his back again to some degree, kind of how his past was, and maybe open up old wounds, and it's going to probably cause a situation to where maybe he's going to have to sacrifice himself for his wife and his child. But what makes this into the creepy element that fits the vibe of October is that apparently he pushed his wife. He actually pushed her down in this ravine. It's revealed in chapter 2 and 3 that that's what he did. And the question is like, why? And he even explains that he doesn't remember doing this. He doesn't know why she would even say something like that, but she's dead certain that he pushed her. Now, there's this glitchy effect that happens. You don't know necessarily why it happens. Most likely, if I had to take an educated guess, there must be an entity of some kind that is stalking the girl, and then maybe is like a doppelganger or something like that, that looks like her husband, and trying to get in the way, and then trying to not just get rid of her, but also get rid of him. I don't really know. That entire plot point hasn't really been explained. But the very aspect of trying to survive down there is actually pretty interesting, because you could see like the issues of them having to deal with the water rising because there's like a typhoon rolling in and water levels are rising to the point to where it's like, oh crap, we're not just going to run out of air, but also we might get hypothermia. We might freeze to death because of the water temperature. There's just a lot of things. And it's like, if you're someone that gets terrified not just of like drowning, but like closed spaces and claustrophobia, this series will give you that, because it literally has those moments to where it's like, oh, he's having to swim through these, like, tunnels and stuff to try to, like, find his phone or whatever that he dropped, and, he almost runs out of oxygen and stuff. It's really interesting. I don't want to spoil everything, but if you're interested in it, you should give yourself, give it a read. I have it linked in the description. But with that being said, though, I do want to shift over and say, though, that there's quite a few series here I could recommend alongside of Survive. I mean, I 100% recommend Everything is Fine. If you haven't read My Girlfriend as well, I made a video on that like 2.5, 3 months ago. Very good read, by the way. Really should sit down and read it. I mean, there's some good stuff here. Sweet Boy, obviously. Shotgun Boy, or Sweet Home, Shotgun Boy. Very big recommendations from me. But I guess I'll leave it at that, though. Just short video. Wanted to recommend a brief little creepy story. I love you guys. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.